June 29, 2000. Bahia Bakari and her mother Aziza board a plane at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Bahia is 12 years old. Excited. First trip to Comoros, the islands where her parents were born. Summer vacation. Family wedding. Her father Kasim stays in Paris with 3 younger siblings. Just Bahia and her mother. The journey requires 2 flights. First to Sana'a, Yemen. Then Yemenia Flight 626 to Moroni, Comoros. Should arrive by 2:30 a.m. They stop in Marseille, pick up more passengers, Comorian families returning home. Then land in Sana'a, wait for Flight 626. When boarding comes, Bahia follows her mother onto the plane. She notices immediately something is wrong. The aircraft is smaller, older, Airbus A310. Built in 1990, France had banned this specific plane from French airspace years earlier. But Bahia doesn't know that. What she notices is the smell, strong, like a bathroom. And there are flies inside the plane. Her mother doesn't seem concerned. They find their seats, buckle in. 142 passengers, 11 crew members, 153 people total. Bahia sits by the window, her mother next to her. The engines start, they take off. Climbing into night sky, it's dark outside, very dark. The ocean below invisible, just blackness. But wait, here's what Bahia doesn't know yet. The pilots are about to make a series of fatal mistakes. Captain Khalid Hajab has flown to Moroni 25 times before. First Officer Ali Itef has been there 13 times, experienced crew. But tonight, during the approach, they fail to stabilize the aircraft. The approach becomes unstable, altitude fluctuating, aircraft attitude wrong. Warning alarms start sounding in the cockpit. The pilots don't respond, don't correct. The plane is falling, engines at full throttle, but descending, falling, stalling. For Bahia sitting by the window with her head resting against the glass, the flight seems normal. A little turbulent maybe, but nobody around her is panicking. So she figures it's fine, just normal turbulence. Nothing to worry about. She looks at her mother. Her mother looks calm. Everything is fine. Everything is sten. Then she feels it. Something like an electric shock, coursing through her entire body. Now pay attention to this part, because this is where everything changes. Bahia describes it later as a black hole. One moment she's sitting in the plane next to her mother. The next moment she's in the water. No transition, no memory, no awareness of the crash itself, just gone. The plane hits the Indian Ocean at 1:50 a.m. local time. 9 miles off the coast of Grande Comore, breaks apart on impact. Everyone inside dies instantly, except Bahia. She's ejected from the fuselage as it disintegrates, thrown into pitch-black ocean, unconscious, sinking. She wakes up in water, can't see anything. Complete darkness, water in her mouth, choking, gasping. She can't swim, never learned. She's in the ocean, middle of the night, can't see, can't swim, drowning. She thrashes, reaches out. Her hand hits something, metal, a piece of the plane. She grabs it, holds on, gets her face above water, breathing. The taste in her mouth is horrible. Jet fuel mixed with salt water, burning her throat, her lungs, her stomach. She spits, coughs, holds tighter. The water is rough, waves crashing over her head. 16-foot swells. She keeps going under, coming back up. The wreckage is maybe 3 feet by 4 feet. Part of the fuselage. She tries to climb on top. Can't, too weak. So she just holds on, arms wrapped around it, face pressed against it. Then she hears voices. But here's where it gets even more terrifying. Other people, speaking Comorian, calling for help. She screams back, help, but her voice is weak. 12-year-old voice against the roar of ocean. The voices continue, for maybe an hour, then one by one the voices stop, until there's only silence, only waves, only darkness, only her. She's alone now, still can't see anything. In her mind she thinks she fell out of the plane, pressed her forehead too hard against the window, somehow fell through. The plane must have landed safely. Everyone else is fine. Her mother is probably looking for her, probably angry. That's what she thinks. The reality is so much worse, but she doesn't know yet. Hours pass. She holds the wreckage, arms cramping, fingers numb, cold, so cold. The water is relatively warm, tropical ocean. But after hours, hypothermia sets in anyway. She shivers, teeth chattering, keeps going under, keeps coming back up. At some point she falls asleep, still holding on, still floating, just exhausted, body shutting down. She sleeps. When she wakes up it's dawn, sun rising. She can finally see, and what she sees is ocean. Endless ocean, water in every direction. But wait, no, there, in the distance, land. She can see the coast of Grande Comore, maybe a mile away, maybe less, so close, but the water is too rough, current too strong. She can't swim anyway. She tries once, lets go of the wreckage, starts kicking, goes nowhere, almost drowns immediately, grabs the wreckage again, decides to wait. Someone will come, someone has to come. But the truly shocking part, nobody comes. Not for hours. She waits, holds on. The sun climbs higher, gets hot, burning her skin. She's wearing pants and a t-shirt but her face and arms exposed, sunburn setting in. Lips cracked, mouth dry despite being in the ocean. Can't drink the water, salt water makes it worse. She's dehydrated, injured, pelvis fractured, though she doesn't know it yet. Collarbone fractured, knees burned, face cut, but alive, still alive. She thinks about her mother, her incredibly protective mother, the woman who always keeps her safe. She imagines her mother's voice, telling her to hold on, to be strong, to survive. So she holds on. At one point, maybe 9 hours in, maybe 10, she sees a ship on the horizon. Her heart leaps. She screams, waves one arm, but the ship is too far away, can't see her. Small 12-year-old girl in vast ocean. The ship passes, disappears. She's alone again, crying now, exhausted, ready to give up. But she thinks about her mother, holds on. Then finally, around 11 hours in AM local time, another boat appears, closer this time, the Yemenia 2, a passenger ferry that normally runs between Comoros and Madagascar. The Comorian government has no rescue ships of its own, so they asked all commercial vessels to help search. The Yemenia 2 crew spots something in the water, wreckage, bodies, then movement, a girl, alive, clinging to debris. They steer toward her, throw a life preserver. She's too weak to grab it, too exhausted to move. A sailor named Maturafi Silaman Libuna jumps in, swims to her, grabs her, pulls her to the boat. Other crew members lift her aboard. She's conscious, talking, asking for her mother, asking what happened. Nobody answers yet. They wrap her in blankets, give her water, radio that they found a survivor, a child, a girl, alive. But here's what nobody expects, and this is the real miracle of Bahia's story. She still doesn't know, still thinks she just fell out. When they tell her the plane crashed, she doesn't believe them. When they tell her everyone else is dead, she thinks they're lying. Why would they lie? Her mother landed safely. Everyone landed safely. She's the only one who fell. That's what happened. She's sure of it. She's brought to shore, Grande Comore Island. Local hospital. Doctors examine her. Fractured pelvis, fractured collarbone, burns, lacerations, hypothermia, but alive. She keeps asking for her mother. Finally, a psychologist sits down with her, explains gently, the plane crashed into the ocean. Everyone died, all 152 others, her mother, everyone. Bahia is the only survivor. She doesn't cry at first. Shock, can't process it. Her mother is gone, dead, and Bahia survived. Why? Eventually Bahia cries, screams, grief hitting like a second wave, worse than the ocean. News spreads fast. 12-year-old sole survivor, can't swim, no life jacket, 13 hours, miracle girl. French President Sarkozy arranges a private government jet. July 2, 2009. 3 days after the crash, she lands at Le Bourget Airport near Paris. Her father Kassim is waiting, sees her on a stretcher, runs to her, hugs her carefully. She's injured, fragile, but alive. Her 3 younger siblings are there, everyone crying, relieved, devastated. She's transferred to Armand Trousseau, Children's Hospital. Sarkozy visits, calls her survival miraculous. Media everywhere. The hospital protects her. She needs to heal. 3 weeks in hospital. Surgeries, physical therapy, psychological counseling. The grief is overwhelming. Survivor's guilt crushing her. Why did she live? No answers, just pain. Slowly, very slowly, she starts to heal. In 2010, she writes a book, My Bahia, La Miraculée. I'm Bahia, the Miracle Girl, co-authored with journalist Omar Guendouzi. She tells her story, every detail, the smell of the plane, the electric shock, the black hole, waking up in water, the voices that went silent, the 13 hours, thinking about her mother, being rescued, learning the truth. The book becomes a bestseller in France. Steven Spielberg reaches out, wants to make a movie. She says no, it would be too terrifying, too traumatic. She's not ready, maybe never will be. The investigation takes months. French Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis leads it. Comoros and Yemen involved. Black boxes recovered from ocean floor. Data analyzed. Conclusion: pilot error. Inappropriate flight control inputs during approach. Unstabilized approach. Aerodynamic stall. Crew failed to respond to warnings. The plane was airworthy. No mechanical failure, just human error. Bad decisions, poor training, negligence. In 2022, 13 years after the crash, Yemenia Airways finally goes to trial in Paris. Criminal trial, involuntary homicide and injuries. Bahia testifies, now 25 years old. She sits in court with her father, faces the airline that killed her mother, killed 151 others. She describes the black hole, the water, the taste of jet fuel, the voices going silent, the 13 hours, the grief. Her voice breaks, tears flow, the courtroom silent. Over 100 family members and friends of victims listening, many crying, all grieving. The verdict: guilty. Yemenia fined $224,500. Ordered to pay $98,000 in damages to Bahia and victims' families. Not enough, never enough. No amount of money brings her mother back, but it's something. Acknowledgement, accountability, justice, however inadequate. Bahia is now 28 years old, living in Paris. Private life, stays out of media, rarely gives interviews. The trauma never fully leaves. The grief never fully heals. But she survives. She's a survivor, has been since she was 12, since that night in June 2009 when her plane crashed into the Indian Ocean, when 152 people died, when she alone lived. June 30, 2009, Yemenia Flight 626, 153 people on board, 152 dead, 1 survivor, 12 years old, can't swim, no life jacket, pitch black ocean, 13 hours, she held on to wreckage, held on to hope, held on to the memory of her mother's voice, and she survived, against every odd, against all logic, against the ocean itself. Bahia Bakari, the Miracle Girl, the youngest sole survivor of a major commercial airline crash, the girl who couldn't swim but refused to drown, the daughter who lost her mother but found the strength to live. Her story isn't just about surviving a plane crash, it's about surviving grief, surviving trauma, surviving guilt, and choosing every single day to keep going, to keep living, even when living hurts, even when the ocean still haunts her dreams, even when she still tastes jet fuel. She survived, and she's still surviving.